Real life military. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite stock, Tesla, how it started off in 2003 as Tesla Motors and how it's become this juggernaut of company it is today. We're going to talk a little bit about Elon Musk, the stock splits like we do with every stock we go over, and also go over the charts. And this one's actually going to be a pretty good chart to go over because Tesla's been crushing it the last couple days with its second quarter earnings coming out, and the deliveries are up right now. So, Tesla was founded in 2003 by two American inventors. It was originally called Tesla Motors. They changed that in 2017 to Tesla. The name was inspired by a 19th century investor named Nikolai Tesla, best known by discovering properties of electromagnetic fields. In 2003, those two American inventors wanted to create an EV sports car. So they went out and tried to find investors in 2004. They stumbled upon Elon Musk, who invested $30 million dollars and was very excited and intrigued and wanted to actually be a part of the company, an active part of the company. The two inventors, the original inventors, just wanted to make a sports car, and Elon was the one that pushed for changing the whole environment of vehicles. So he was originally going to walk away until they came to an agreement. So he was involved with a vision of making a total EV environment, with making it a technology company, always involving their batteries, their motors, and their computer software. He took an active role in the engineering aspects of the Roadster. In 2006 to 2008, he went out and raised over $100 million dollars with all of his friends that he made before with PayPal and just being who he was out in society for the company. This was instrumental for the production of the Roadster, which began in 2008. The Roadster was the first electric vehicle to use lithium ion, lithium ion battery cells. Tesla achieved something that no other company has ever done. So, this was the battery, the motor, and the range. So, they went on and made the battery better and the motor better and the range, but they took a lot of challenges with the Roadster. It only had a 250 mile range. It cost over $100,000, so it was luxury. It wasn't for the average person. It was more of a rich person car. And the charging took 24 to 48 hours to charge on a standard outlet. In the future years, Tesla went through a lot of leadership changes, decisions, and the public wasn't happy with it. They took a lot of scrutiny with all the decisions that they were making. So in 2007 through 2008 was when the founders were forced out and they hired someone else as CEO. This other person came in and they came in and they made the Roadster a success, but they lagged and they made the company slow down quite a bit. So in 2007, they launched it. In 2008, the other two founders of Tesla left, and this caused an uproar with management and all the political pundits. In 2009, the founders actually sued them, but dropped it in the same year after they came to an agreement. In 2008, Elon took over as CEO, and he fired 30% of the workers, sort of what he did with Twitter. He thinned it out to bare bones because even though the Roadster came out, they were still bleeding money. In 2009, they faced serious issues and had less than $10 million dollars on their balance sheets, which was less than what they needed to fulfill the orders that they already made. In 2010, after they showed that it could actually work, they received a $465 million loan from the US government of energy to help the EVs. Most of this was used to create their first factory in California. This factory was for the Model S. It was their first real car for the masses. with a 300-mile range and a $74,000 price tag, which was a reduction from the Roadster. In 2010, they IPO'd. They came out and their stock was $17, and they raised $230 million. This this was the first American car company to go public since Ford back in 1956. I'll say that again. The first American company, the first American car company to go public since 1956. That is crazy if you think about it. This helped Tesla become more secure and was great for public opinion. You can find an interview with Elon talking about running out of money around this time and being told that he didn't have enough money for both of his companies that he was putting into at this time. The companies were Tesla and SpaceX. Being told that he had to cut one of them at the knees, basically, and that it would fail to save the other one. You see Elon emotional during this interview, thinking back to those times, because this was later when he's doing this interview, but they're asking about the hard times back in 2010. This is where he was working 100-hour work weeks, sleeping at the office, and giving everything to his work. He stated how can he kill one of his companies? He said it would be like killing one of his children, and decided to go all in with everything to make both of them work or both of them die. But they didn't. It was truly amazing if you think about it, that he took that leap of faith and it all worked out. So after this, in 2012, the Model S went into full scale production. It was the first hit. It was the first hit that Elon had, that it was showing that he could sell an actual car to the whole masses. Everyone could afford it, and it was working out. The first EV to win Motor Trend Car of the Year. Later that year, they discontinued the Roadster and focused on sedans. They launched their first energy cell, the supercharger, in 6 locations now. But now 6 locations back then, but now there's thousands all over the world. And the original 6 were free, and they charged faster than anything else. In 2013, they repaid their $465 million loan to the government and posted their first quarterly profit. This was still not considered a full win because other companies were trying to make these EVs and they weren't working out. So they were still shaky with the public and the other automakers. Back in 2012, they started their first outside factory in Europe. They launched their Model S and Model X. These were the luxury sedans. And they also, in late 2015, the Gigafactory came out in Nevada, where they started selling solar and battery packs. They actually bought the company Solar City, and this made them $800 million in profit. 2017, the Model 3 sedan reduced their price even more to $37,000. This helped it grow not only in the EV space, but in the mass automobile market. The second Gigafactory came up in New York, and solar cell superchargers and solar shingles were sold. Everything was looking strong. They were breaking new ground in technology and innovation. In 2018, Elon was involved in 3 companies. You had Tesla, SpaceX, and the Boring Company. Investors in the media didn't like that. They thought he was all over the place. And when Elon talks, he takes his time and he says whatever he's feeling. So he's not a person that will just fluff. So a lot of people don't like that. He's kind of polarizing. But he actually sent out a tweet saying that he wanted to go public. He was thinking about going public, which made the stock go crazy. And he actually got sued for this, settling later for $40 million. Elon goes on to be Elon. He goes on the Joe Rogan show. He's smoking weed. He builds flamethrowers and sells them. He dates an actress, Amber Heard, and he's still working hard, and it's still showing. By passing all nine car companies combined, he passed all nine car companies combined. His company became so big that he was worth more than all of the other nine companies together. That is crazy in comparison. When he is, and this is brand new, he only has a little bit of the market, and his company is worth more than all the other companies combined. That's crazy. But any no one could talk shit about what Elon has done with Tesla. With his leadership, Tesla has disrupted all the other car companies, transforming them, making other car companies come up with EVs. And he's even brought out more ideas like the Cybertruck that has actually started putting out vehicles now, and the semi truck that he says is going to have a 500-mile range. So he hasn't stopped innovating, and the company still keeps on getting bigger and bigger. They have at this time they have two new giga factories in Texas and in Berlin. So after that, in 2020 they had their first stock split, and in 2020 they also got added to the S&P 500. That's a hell of a run. That's a hell of a run. That is crazy. And it's good to know these stocks, the whole background and everything that they go into, not just that they're good stocks, because Tesla is one of the best stocks in the world. So the two stock splits they have, the first one, which I said already, was in 2020. It was a 5-for-1. And the second one is in 2022, a 3-for-1. So that means if you have how many Tesla stocks? You have one original stock. I'll give you guys a second. Think about it. Simple math, 15. So for every 15 Tesla stock, you have one original stock. So Tesla is a car company for now, but its technology is tracking everything and collecting all that information to make the car a better driving car. It improves the GPS and improves everything around the car. So some of the aspects that it improves performance data, from the speed, the acceleration, braking data, the battery usage, charging patterns, all of that. The driving behavior, the steering, the inputs, the lane changes, the use of the autopilot feature, and how the car pays attention. So if you have your hands away, or if you look behind you in the car, it has cameras all in the car, and it will sense what you're doing and tell you that you need to pay attention. That is wild. The GPS data for navigation, every Tesla, for what they drive, they're collecting all that information, and it goes out it creates the GPS within, which is amazing. The sensor data from the cameras, the radar, the ultrasonic sensors, and the other hardware, all this information comes in, and it helps the autopilot, the collision avoidance, parking assist. And then lastly, you have the environmental data, the road conditions, weather, and traffic. So it is a car company, but it is also a technology company. So all of the information that it takes in, it collects all that technology, and it makes the car better itself. So that's where the technology comes from. And it is what I'm going to go ahead and say what I believe. I believe that it is the first AI that is actually being used on a scale that on a very useful scale, something that you can physically use. Like, there's no robots going around and fixing things, but you have Teslas. Like, okay, so I bought a Tesla a week ago, which I'm super excited about. Since I have quite a bit invested into it, I was like, I need a new car. Mine broke down finally for 11 years, so I bought it. So I've actually been able to experience the Tesla. And the autopilot feature is amazing. It truly is. The screen, it senses if it's a child, if it's a man, if it's a truck, if it's a van, a bicycle, and it drives itself. It is awesome. I know some other some other companies have this, but it does not match Tesla at all. So now we will go ahead and take a look at the charts, and I'll show you kind of how starting from $17 to going to where it is today. Right now, I'm actually watching it. It's pre-market, but it's up a little bit right now. It's up about $5. So I'll go ahead and switch over to that. Cool. So you probably can't see this as much, but right here. So it's sitting right here at $237. It's actually jumped up a ton. That's why it's like very ironic that I'm doing this video right now. It wasn't planned for how well the stock is doing. I actually said in the last video that I was going to do it. So if we go back and look at the 5-year. So this is back in 2000. So this is 2020. So at 2020, it was sitting at $33, the price it is today, and it has gone up to a total of 400. But that's 400 times 15, which I'm going to do quick math so I don't get it wrong here. So 400 times 15 would be $6,000. So one Tesla stock got up to $6,000 back in 2021 when everything was going crazy. Right now at 237, it is sitting at $3,555 for one original stock. Starting at 17, it's sitting now at $3,500. That's a run. So we'll go for all time and see if it doesn't crash my computer. Okay. So for the stock split, so if you still don't understand stock split, so look at this. This is 2013. It has it at $4.69. So it was way more than that because remember, it IPO'd back in, let me make sure I get this right. It IPO'd back in 2010. So this is 3 years in, and it was at $5. And it's gone up from there. So that shows you the scale. But let's see when it starts really popping off. It'll be about 10 years. So I remember back in 2020 when I was first getting into stocks. Tesla was at $300, and it jumped all the way up to $2,000. Like within, let's see, 2020. Yeah, so this is April 2020 right here, this line. Oh, whoops, I'll switch it. So this is April 2020 where this line is right here. So I'll make a line real quick. And April, or we'll say, so April 2020 will go to April 2021. So this was a $178 gain. So back then it was a $2,300 gain. So to watch that as I'm buying stocks and investing in other things, I was just like, oh, like I was losing my mind. I was like, oh, why didn't I get into Tesla? Everyone was thinking of that. That's why everyone started flooding in. But that just goes to show from that growth, that's from all of what Tesla has done. And they are a true disruptor of their sector, the vehicle sector. No other car company has done it, and they have, like I said before, they've surpassed all the other car companies, and they're all scared of Tesla. Trust me, everyone's hoping Tesla fails. It has been the most shorted stock in history, and everyone wants Tesla to fail. But it's an amazing company. It's done great with its solar, and it's just a great company all around. And also right now, in my opinion, so let's go back to the screen, go to a year. So I remember when it was down to $100, but right around here, $140, I got back in around this point, and now look at it. It's good. It's a little high right now. I would, if you're looking into buying this, I would wait till around 2020. I would say 200 to 220. Right now it's a little hot, and with how these earnings are going to go, it could go it could go to the moon, or it could go back to 200. Who knows? It could be a $50 swing real fast, but only time will tell. Great company. I would always It's always going to go up. From here, this is super cheap for Tesla. Just go out and look at what everyone else is saying. Tesla is a great stock. It has to be in your stock portfolio.